I've confronted hundreds of men over 2 decades. Men online looking for children to sexually assault.
Cody, I'm Chris Hansen.
I know who you are.
I tried to get into their heads and understand why.
But you have it on your phone.
That's true.
And ultimately make sure they face justice.
Can I just give you some money and leave?
I don't want money. I want the truth.
These are the predators I've caught. I'm Chris Hansen. Very rarely does it appear, at least, that a predator I've caught is under the influence. We had a guy recently who absolutely reeked of weed in Louisiana. That was the latest episode up on True Blue. We've had guys bring over some beer and wine, drinks, alcohol. But they don't appear to be drunk, at least not beyond making a decision between right and wrong. But there was one predator I caught back in the fall of 2022 who was clearly under the influence and potentially going through withdrawal. I don't know if you've had many dealings with people who are addicted to heroin or other opiates, but they have this way about them. You've heard the term tweaking, like when somebody's coming off of a crack high or a meth high, and they need that buzz back, and they're twitchy and antsy, and they're holding themselves. They can't sit still. It's difficult to watch. And when somebody's brain is doing the same thing as their body, twitching, saying things that just don't make sense, that aren't logical, it can be a challenge to interview a person like that. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not setting this up to say that this particular predator didn't know the difference between right and wrong, because he did. He acknowledged it. And being a junkie or an addict isn't a defense for trying to sexually exploit a child. There is no defense for that. There's no defense for drunk driving. There's no defense for driving under the influence of any drug. You can kill a person. You can harm a person for life. You can alter the course of their life with your bad decisions, trying to fulfill your illegal and illicit fantasies. There's no defense. But it does present a challenge in interviewing somebody who's just absolutely off his rocker, who wishes he could get back to his vehicle to use some of the heroin and cocaine that was found in it. And such was the case with Cono DeSarli. John was 39 when he surfaced in our investigation in Polk County, Florida. This was the first time we worked with Polk County. I've known Sheriff Grady Judd there for many, many years, more than 40 years. You've probably heard me tell the story of how we met when I was a young reporter in Tampa, and he was a lieutenant at the Polk County Sheriff's Office. DeSarli was a character. Sometimes we nickname these guys, and John's nickname is Dark Web John, because he spun an incredible tale of why he was there. Now, I'm going to share with you the texts of this conversation that he had with someone he thought was a 14-year-old girl. And you're going to see that he was capable of formulating thoughts. He knew what he was doing was wrong, and he wanted desperately to have sex with this child. And get this. What do you think Cono DeSarli's parents did for a living? The mom was a former assistant police chief In Bridgeport, Connecticut, that's right. She retired from the Bridgeport police and was living in Florida. And based on everything we could find out, she worked in Southwest Florida trying to find missing people. She collaborated with local law enforcement there. Now, John also said that his dad was an FBI agent. I was never able to independently confirm that, but I was able to confirm that his mom was an assistant or a deputy police chief in Bridgeport. So what the hell is a guy with a law enforcement heritage doing trying to exploit a child? John worked for a home alarm, office alarm system company, installing alarm in people's workplaces, at police departments, could have been in someone's home. Imagine that, a guy who was high on heroin and cocaine, a guy who we caught trying to have sex with a 14-year-old girl, having access to police departments, office buildings, and potentially people's homes, wiring their security system. Shocking. And so is the chat John had with someone he thought was 14. You're quite the gem, he says to this person he thinks is a 14-year-old girl. Absolutely one of a kind, unique and intriguing. Are you interested in something local with me? Where are you from? She asks. Like an hour from you. Tampa area. As long as 11 inches isn't an issue. That's how big he bragged his penis was. He sent a photo of a penis. Prove his point. I'd love to show you an amazing time. Well, I'm a little younger, so as long as that's okay, I don't want drama. No drama, just fun and relaxing, says John. And do you mind an older guy? Older guys are fine as long as you don't tell on me, she says. How old are you? She says she's going to be 15 in a few months, but I'm very mature. I am behind you and have your back 100%, he says. You can trust me with anything, I promise you, and swear on my mother and my best friend, whatever that means. Would you be okay with me playing with you and showing you some fun stuff? He sends the pictures. He goes on and gives some details about his private parts. I'll spare you. Do you like it, he asks. I don't have much to compare it to, but yeah, LOL. You've had sex before, he asks. And how old were they? Yeah, a couple times. They were older. How old? Like my age? Or am I the oldest, he wants to know. How old are you? 39, he says. And that's truthful. Yeah, that would be the oldest, I think, LOL. That nobody ever knows about. Now, John will go on and talk about how he wants this girl to be his little secret. That he wants to keep going. And he says he'll help her with whatever she needs. He wants to know what she wants to learn or try. Up for whatever she says. Can I see any pics of you, sweetie? There's a bunch on my profile. I just don't like sending more. I don't want them spread everywhere. That happened before. Listen to me, he says, and understand one thing. If you are my girl, though, I would never want another guy to see what only I should be able to see. In other words, he wants to lock her up. be exclusive, or her to be exclusive. I'll never pressure you. I want you to be comfortable and do what makes you happy. I'm going to take you through the entire head to toe and what real foreplay is like, and what it's really like to have good sex.
More about this predator I've caught in a moment.
I've been investigating predators going after our children for more than 20 years, but did you know there are also predators who may be going after your own home, your biggest investment? Just think about this. When was the last time you checked your home title? That's the legal record proving that you own your home. If the answer is never, then this is for you. Scammers are stealing titles and your equity is the target. It happens all the time. Criminals forge your signature on one document, use a fake notary stamp, pay a small fee to your county, and just like that, your home title has been transferred out of your name. That's why I have partnered with Home Title Lock, so you can find out today if you're already a victim. It's frightening how frequently this happens. Use my promo code Hansen at HomeTitleLock.com and you'll get a free title history report. Plus, you'll get a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's a 24/7 monitoring of your title, urgent alerts to any changes, and if fraud does happen, they'll spend up to $1 million to fix it. Go to HomeTitleLock.com and use promo code Hansen. That's HomeTitleLock.com. Promo code Hansen, Hansen. We have it on our home. You should too. Start with my massage. Really? That sounds interesting and kind of fun, says the decoy. Now, this is a detective, obviously, with the Polk County Sheriff's Office posing as the 14-year-old girl. So it's oil, both of us nude, and me massaging you and body to body, he says. Both of us connected in oil. Then slowly I would caress and kiss every little bit of your body, and finally eat your pussy for like a long time. How poetic. He wants to know again some things she would like to try. You've popped your cherry, yes? He asks. He wants her to pick up the phone. So how's tonight or this weekend? Which is better, he asks. I'm actually leaving tomorrow morning, she says, so I guess tonight. Okay, perfect. What is best, earlier, later, or you tell me the time? Well, my aunt is leaving soon, so after that then. The date is set. Now, the scenario is that the girl is at a hotel on the outskirts of Orlando, not far from all the amusement parks, Disney, SeaWorld, all the rest. But he's going to sell himself a little more. He wants to know if she has any oil. What's a 14-year-old doing with oil, John? Okay, you're so lucky because this massage is so amazing, he says. Maybe an hour and a half massage. Relax everything. You'll be tingling, and the longest you've ever had sex. So John thinks he's going to drive 3/4 of the way across the state of Florida, from the Tampa area to just outside of Orlando. And get this, he's driving his company vehicle. It's a work van, has the name of the security alarm company on it. And he drives this all the way over to the hotel. Pulls in, parks, and he thinks he's going to meet this girl who's been left behind in the hotel room by her aunt. Before arriving at the hotel, John's next idea is a frightening one.
Are there stores near the hotel on the way? Want to come with me?
I think there's a gas station or something nearby.
You know, you want to take a ride with me? break the ice and it'll make everything fall into place.
John walks into the hotel, and he's trying to figure out what room he's supposed to go to. He doesn't get very far when a team from the Polk County Sheriff's Office takes him down. Luckily, there was no 14-year-old to take a ride with John, just the Polk County Sheriff's Office and me ready to take him down. But he's not too quick to comply.
Get on the ground. Turn
Okay.
On your belly.
All right.
Get on your belly.
All right.
Put your hands behind your back. I got the cash. Boom.
John is smug, sarcastic, smarmy.
What is it? What is what? You gonna play games? What's going on?
He wants to know what's going on.
What's going on? What is it? What's going on? What is it? You're past that. What is it? Okay.
Now it's this John's turn to be booked, and his night is about to get a lot worse. John is brought back to Polk County Sheriff's offices to be interrogated. He goes through that, and he comes up with this cockamamie story about how he knew exactly what was going on. And then I get a chance to sit down with him, and it is one of the most bizarre interviews I've ever conducted. And you're going to hear some of this. He at first claims he knew that this was a setup, that he knew it was a sting being conducted by law enforcement. He also says that he has a unique ability to navigate the dark web, and that's how he was able to find out exactly where this decoy with law enforcement was operating. Problem is, he was full of bullshit, and I knew it. So how many girls do you think you met on the dating app?
Maybe like 3.
3?
Yeah.
And you met them in person, too?
Yeah.
And how old were the girls you met in person?
Oh, they were like my age, like 4
Your
years.
age. Okay, so you're 39, John?
Yeah.
Okay. And this girl you were...
The problem with this
Go ahead.
situation...
Yeah, explain it to me.
The problem with this situation is I'm very, 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 very good in IT and
Right.
cruising the dark web and the deep web and
Right.
going unnoticed. And the problem I had once I was told that this girl was 15 was
14, actually. She was
14.
Yeah.
Was no, you're wrong. What
Why
you
did you-
have-
why
Because
did-
I have a lot of inside sources. Also, I've done a lot of sheriffs and.
Now, he can't sit still. He's moving around, crossing his legs. You can see it in the video. He's hyped up. Now, later, he's going to claim that he's got some medication in his vehicle he's going to need. His medication, all right. It's called heroin and cocaine.
Sarasota PD's alarm systems. And
So you've done a lot of work for law
yeah,
enforcement.
my mom's an assistant chief of police.
And he goes ahead and tells me he's done a lot of work with law enforcement, alarm systems, and volunteers what his mom did for a living. Well, where was your mom assistant?
Bridgeport, Connecticut.
In Bridgeport, Connecticut.
And now she works for missing persons for Sarasota and the sheriff's office.
So were you ever in law enforcement yourself?
No.
But your mom has been in
My
law
mom was
enforcement.
in 32 years, yeah.
And
So
she was-
retired in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And came down here to help out missing persons.
And she was deputy police chief in Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Assistant chief.
Assistant chief of police in Bridgeport, Connecticut. That's a big job.
Yeah. So this would be the first time I ever had cups on. But yeah, so
He says it's the first time he's ever had cuffs on. Not sure I believe that.
If what you've heard shocks you so far, join us back in a moment.
So what I was able to find through my source was that I wasn't speaking to a 14-year-old.
Okay, so
I
let
was
me-
speaking to a detective behind a mask, pretending to be a woman who actually, through what I found, was actually over the age of 18.
So you knew
Yeah.
that this was a sting going
Yeah.
in.
So I knew it was a
You
sting,
had sources
and
in
I
the...
called my friend. I told him they could
Right.
pull my call log.
Right.
I called my buddy. I go, listen, yeah, I got this crazy situation. I go, they're playing this off as if this girl's 15. They're like, just turn around and leave. I'm like, no, you know that's not my style.
Not your style.
Not to just walk away from it. I just wanted to prove a point.
Now, these are the kind of interviews where you really have to keep up, because he's going to try and spin me around in circles. He had a source. He called a guy. He confirmed that, in fact, this was a sting. But then, John, why would you show up? He's got an answer for that, too. But soon, this is all going to unravel. So you wanted to prove...
I would never have walked in. I would never walk in that door.
But you walked in the hotel.
The hotel, sure.
Yeah, sure. So you had a sexually charged conversation with someone who said she was 14. Check me there.
You can use that, what you're saying.
Check, just
absolutely.
So that's true up to that point.
But the point is this is an
imaginary
14-year-old,
right,
which I knew the entire time.
And how did you know that, John?
Because I can do things that 90% of people can't with computers.
So you have the ability to go into secret places on the internet, talk to sources, and you did that tonight.
See where that computer was, that the detective was using,
and
see where those
where was the computer
where
was the computer that the detective was using?
In the hotel.
In the hotel. Get ready. As you see, John's story is already on shaky ground, but I'm about to really bust his bubble here. He says that he was able to track the undercover activity to a computer being used by the decoy, a sheriff's detective, in that hotel room. And I'm about to let him know that there was no computer, no decoy on the computer in that hotel room. It was back at the sheriff's department. Let's see what he says now. So your sources told you that the computer the detective was using was in the hotel room?
Yeah.
It wasn't in the hotel room, John.
Okay, where was it?
You tell me, you've got all the sources.
That's what I got. I got the hotel room.
All right. So in the course of this investigative project of yours, you talked about having sex, performing sex acts on this girl who said she was 14, right?
Okay.
You wanted to
again,
perform oral sex on her.
Keep in mind, this is all in my head as I'm driving here, that as I get here, this is just going to be like, thank you for, trying to set me up. Have a nice day. That's right. Thank you for trying to set me up. Have a nice day. John, that just doesn't make sense. Nobody does that. What John was doing was trying to sexually exploit a child, plain and simple. To recap so far, John has said that his mother is in law enforcement, claims he's hacked into the Polk County computer systems to find out this was an undercover sting, is a dark web and computer expert, and that he was just going to show up to say, thank you for trying to set me up. Have a nice day. Oh, what a tangled web he weaves. But why do you even get involved with this? Because that's who I am. I want to.
A predator? That's who you are as a predator?
Yeah, I'm a predator.
I asked him, why would you possibly do something like this? That's who I am, he says. And you sent a picture of a penis.
Which wasn't mine.
Which wasn't yours. Why would you?
What is that? So something that's available to 99 million people on the planet, is that wrong?
A lot of people ask me.
Is it?
Because I do these investigations. If it was mine,
I'd probably feel bad.
But here's what I don't understand, and people ask me this all the time because I do a fair amount of this work.
Well, it keeps me away from why.
Okay, so why would anybody send a picture of a penis to somebody who said they were 14 years old? Why would you do that?
Well, that's not where it was. It was this person saying, can you send me a picture?
Wait a minute. The person asked for a penis picture.
So you think it was just a random send?
Well, I don't know why you would do that in the first place, but I don't think, I know that
Well, they can go through all the...
I know that the person
they can go through all
posing as a 14-year-old did not ask you for a penis pic.
800 people I've talked to that I have yet to meet or never met, and they all ended up the same way, where I just...
Have you ever...
my little game.
He's backsliding now. He's boxed in, and there's no way out.
Have you
play
ever
my little game, and I never
you play your little game? Have you ever met an underage girl
Never.
online?
No.
So tonight you just did this for the very first time.
And I knew there was no
John, with all the extensive ability to
when this goes down,
expose these situations.
I want the underage girl. I just want her on court to speak to. That's all. I want her there.
It's a decoy, John. You know.
I know this. I'm definitely a predator. I've never been arrested my entire life. I have no patterns of this. I've never spoken to an underage girl.
But then why tonight? Help me to
that
explain.
When I know there's a sting behind it, I can just walk in and be like, listen,
John,
tell what you're doing. I see you back there, the detective. Have a nice night.
John thinks by being animated and adamant, he's going to find a way out of this situation. But it turns out his hour-and-a-half drive is going to end ultimately in the Polk County Jail.
it doesn't make sense, John, that you would get in a car after a sexually charged conversation.
Married, you have the life. I sit home and don't do.
What do you do for a living, John?
I do security system.
And I want to know more about his job.
And you drove your company van here tonight?
That's all I had in my car.
How's that going to go over with the company?
Well, obviously bad.
Not good, huh?
Start something.
And his mom, the former assistant police chief?
And your mom, John, who is the former assistant chief in Bridgeport, Connecticut, how's she going to react when you tell her about this?
We're just going to throw everything we can.
She's going to support you?
Oh, for 100%. Absolutely. What do you mean? We'll pull every little thing out we can and drop every cent
to defend you. You think that your mom will defend you in this case?
Are you saying that like you're like shocked?
Well, I'm shocked that somebody who was in law enforcement for 30-some years would be supportive of a son who got arrested for preying upon a child.
Then yeah, she'll just walk away.
Well, I don't know. I'm asking you.
I don't know. I mean, do you have children?
I do.
Okay, so you just walk, no matter what your son is, you just walk.
It makes me wonder if John's been in trouble before and maybe leaned on his mother in law enforcement to get him out of trouble. He seems pretty cocky at this point that his mom's going to help him out, but it's not going to keep him out of jail, and it's not going to get him off the hook.
You just can't be truthful like I am. That's just the way it is.
So I can't be truthful?
I'm saying my mother is not going to walk away and be like, oh,
I don't think I'm the one not being truthful here, John. And do you want to know why?
And now, in case he didn't know who I was, I tell him.
Because I'm Chris Hansen.
I know you are.
And I do stories on adults who try to meet kids online for sex.
Now he's getting into this bizarre whispering voice. I know who you are. Very strange.
And usually you actually do it right, where there's actually a child.
And this is wrong. Why?
Well, where's the child? That's my question.
Now he's going to make the argument that because there was no actual child present, that there will be no witness to testify against him in court. John doesn't have this right at all.
You want it? All right, we can run it back. Go ahead, run it back.
But it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
There was somebody posing as a child.
Someone that's imaginary, that's 12 years old, makes it real. Go ahead.
It's true.
Okay. So take it to the bank.
What do you think would have happened, John, had the sheriff's office not been there, had my crew's not been there, and there was a 14-year-old girl in that hotel room? What would you have done?
Oh, I would have actually gone right through it. No, that was not my point. The point was to show up and say, listen.
So you're just going to give this girl a good talking to?
Okay. If I had known there would be a 14-year-old girl there 100% alone, no, I would have spun around and left.
Okay.
Let's be clear.
So, but you would have gone in the hotel room and seen that it was a 14-year-old girl.
The point to go with there was to know that the detective was there as well. That was the only point.
So you, the son of a longtime law enforcement official, decides all of a sudden tonight that you're going to go confront a detective who's doing a sting operation in Polk County, Florida. Is that right? Do I have that right?
I mean, in the beginning, did I know that? No. But
so you just made this up along the way?
Now the story is really crumbling. And it appears John is jonesing for something he left in his work truck.
I mean, once I found out, sure.
And at what point did you find out that this was a sting?
Once I started seeing
people tell you to get on the ground.
What?
When you were arrested.
Are you retarded?
Then, because I'm calling him out on his cockamamie story, he looks at me and says, "Are you retarded?" The height of arrogance. Like I'm not understanding or capable of understanding his BS story.
No, I'm not the one here.
Okay. Use that head. So when I found out through my computer,
you think I'm having a hard time keeping up with this?
Where these packets and what I was seeing.
What is a packet, John?
Look exactly. It up. If you can't tell me what a packet is, I can't really help you.
So you're a computer expert. Dark web.
You can't tell me what a packet is, really.
So now he's going to play around with semantics. Well, I'm just about done with this interview because he's tried to spin me every which way he can. And now it's time for Dark Web John to go to his cell. John's demeanor made sense once the Polk County detective searched his vehicle. Part of a glass pipe was found, which tested positive for cocaine, and a pill bottle with residue that tested positive for heroin. John was charged with 7 felonies. Traveling to meet a child after using a computer, attempted lewd battery, 2 counts, transmission of harmful material to a minor, unlawful use of a two-way communication device, possession of drug paraphernalia, cocaine possession, and heroin possession. That's right. Ultimately, John pleaded guilty to some of those charges, and he was sentenced to 5 years in Florida prison, which is where he will stay until March of 2029. When he gets out, he will be on probation and is now and will then be on the registered sex offender list in Florida, which is exactly where he belongs. We always want to know more about the predators busted in our sting operations, their past, and the scoop on what's happened to them since our arrest, and the scoop on what's happened to them since the sting where they were busted. This is your weekly Truthfinder Predator update brought to you by our friends at truthfinder.com. John, who is now 42, did get into trouble once after he was arrested, but before he was sentenced to prison. In March of 2024, he was arrested for criminal mischief, $1,000 or more. In the past, he had been detained for reckless driving and failure to wear a seatbelt, as well as driving with a suspended license. But the one thing John may have been truthful about is that he was never charged with a serious felony prior to him surfacing in our sting. To get the answers you're looking for and to discover information on potential predators, go to truthfinder.com and also follow our weekly Truthfinder Predator updates to see what we can uncover next. More of our story in a moment. As you know, I like to hear from you, and this week's question comes from Mildred in Kissimmee, Florida, ironically, just a few miles from Polk County.
Hey, Chris. This is Mildred from Kissimmee, Florida. Long time, first time. Love the pod. Been a big fan of your work. Now, my question for you is, I'm an elder millennial, and I obviously grew up on To Catch a Predator and seeing all of the good work that you were doing there. It feels like these days, the Predators I've Caught podcast has transitioned pretty much completely towards takedown content. Now, obviously, takedown is what you're doing. I completely get that, and I completely respect that. It's like in the moment. and you want people to stay in the moment. I completely get that. But what I would like to know is, are you ever going to return to some of the TCAP predators that you've missed? I know you've covered a fair amount of them. I know you've covered pretty much all of your Hansen versus Predator content, but I'm just curious as to whether you might do one or two more of your TCAP predators just to sort of go on a little nostalgia run. Anyway, big fan of your work. Thanks for all that you do. Mildred from Kissimmee, Florida.
Thank you, Mildred. I appreciate it, and it's a great question. We have done on this podcast probably 80% of the predators who surfaced in the original To Catch a Predator episodes. I will get back into some of them that we haven't explored on the podcast. I've been waiting, honestly, to see if a couple of them will sit for an interview. And Mildred, thank you for reminding me to double check and circle back around and see if I can make that happen. There are cases, for instance, where, the guy never talked. He showed up, but I didn't get a chance to do an interview. There are some early cases that are fascinating where the guy didn't face any criminal charges, but actually turned himself around and became an upstanding member of the community. And I think those are important stories. So thank you for, as one predator told me, giving me a good kick in the pants to pursue those different cases. Mildred, I appreciate it. Thank you for your support and your kind words. I want to share with you the latest on our Roblox investigation. This thing is really something impactful. The level of exploitation on Roblox is startling to me and to a lot of other people. I did just last week finish the interview with a young man who goes by the name of Schlep Online. He was a prodigy on Roblox at the tender age of 10, was later exploited by a predator on Roblox, and went on his own quest to go after other predators on the platform. In return, he was punished by Roblox. And that's just one part of our investigation, which I hope will be finished and on True Blue and perhaps some other platforms very soon, in the next several weeks, or certainly within the next couple months. I will keep you posted. I've been doing a lot about it on social media, so you can follow me there. And I'll talk about it here. You can always catch me on my streaming crime network, True Blue, with brand new takedown episodes that drop every Thursday. TRUBLU, watch trueblue.com for details. We've now launched a second podcast called Have a Seat with Chris Hansen. You need to check it out. It's more of an interview-based program, exploring a lot of different crime-related topics, some very fascinating people will take a seat with me, and have already. Appreciate your support. I think you'll like it. You can find me all over social media, at Chris Hansen on X, official Chris Hansen on Instagram, Have a Seat with Chris Hansen on TikTok, Cameo should you desire, and as always, right here at Chris@PredatorPodcast.com. I'll be watching and listening.